You ever notice how the loudest people in the room are usually the weakest? They talk too much, brag too much, complain too much. They're desperate for attention because that's all they've got, noise. But let me tell you something most people will never understand. Silence is the ultimate dominance. When you're silent, you're dangerous. Nobody knows what you're thinking. Nobody can predict your next move. That's what makes you powerful. While the world screams for validation, you're sitting back, calculating, watching, learning. Every word you don't say is energy conserved, respect earned, and mystery built. Real power, it moves in silence. The winners aren't out here advertising their plans. They're not crying for sympathy or showing off on social media. They're locked in, obsessed, focused. They grind when no one's watching and win when no one expected it. You want respect? Control your mouth, control your emotions. The man who can stay calm while everyone else is losing their mind, that's the man who runs the game. You don't need to scream your worth, you need to build it. Let your results echo so loud they silence everyone else. Be silent in your struggle, be silent in your strategy, and then make noise with your success. Because the world doesn't listen to people who talk. It listens to people who win. So keep your head down, stay dangerous, and remember, the lion doesn't need to roar. Everyone already knows who he is. Silence is power. It's not some poetic fluff, it's raw truth. You want to win? Then shut your mouth and learn to observe. Every time you open your mouth unnecessarily, you're leaking value. You're exposing your mindset, your fears, your weaknesses, your plans. You're giving people ammunition to use against you. You think talking makes you strong? No, it makes you vulnerable. The most dangerous man in the room is the one who says the least. Not because he's scared, because he doesn't need to prove anything. He's not there for ego. He's there to dominate. People who can't stay silent are slaves to their emotions. You've seen them, always reacting, always flinching, always defending themselves. They're addicted to being heard. But the truth is, the world doesn't care about your noise. It listens to results. It respects control. When you're silent, you create an aura. People start wondering what you're thinking, what you're planning. That uncertainty, that tension, that's power. Puts people on edge. It makes them hesitate, and hesitation gives you an edge. Everyone wants to be loud because they think volume equals strength. They post every move online, they argue every opinion, they scream to be noticed, and while they're busy shouting, the silent ones are watching, learning, adapting. They're collecting data. They're letting the loud ones expose their hands, every insecurity, every lie, every weakness. Silence lets you study your enemy while he dances for attention like a clown. That's how you break people, not by talking, but by knowing. You want to control a room? Don't try to out-talk people. Let them talk themselves into weakness. Let them unravel while you sit back and calculate. Power isn't in how much you say, it's in what you hold back. It's in that tension you build by not reacting, not explaining, not begging to be understood. You don't owe the world your voice. You owe yourself your focus. People confuse silence with submission. That's laughable. The real killers move quiet. The assassins, the chess players, the high-level winners, they don't talk, they execute. They don't need external approval. They're too busy winning. You want real dominance? Lock your mouth, open your eyes, sharpen your mind. Stop wasting energy explaining yourself to people beneath you. Stop leaking power in the form of pointless words. Stay cold, stay calculating, stay silent. Let them sleep on you, and when you strike, let the silence be the loudest sound they ever hear. Control equals respect. You want to be taken seriously in this life? Then learn to shut your mouth and master yourself. You think people respect the loud, reactive, emotional types? They don't. They might laugh at their jokes. They might nod while they scream, but deep down, everyone knows the truth. Those people are weak. No control, zero discipline, just noise and chaos. The man who can't control his mouth can't control his life. The one who can't control his emotions is a slave to every situation around him, and slaves don't get respect. Ever. You walk into a room and explode the second someone challenges you, you've already lost. You gave away your composure, your energy, your dominance. The second you react, they control you. You're a puppet. They push the button and you dance. That's pathetic. That's not power. That's submission in disguise. The ones who control themselves, their tone, their emotions, their expressions, those are the ones people fear because they can't be read. They can't be manipulated. They aren't rattled. You don't know what they're thinking. That mystery, that calm under pressure, that's where respect is born. People respect what they can't shake. A man who doesn't flinch, doesn't stutter, doesn't fold, that man owns every room he steps into. And it has nothing to do with muscles or money or status. It's mindset, discipline, restraint. Control over your words is control over perception. Control over your reactions is control over power. When you're unshakable, you become untouchable. You want to be respected by other men? Control your anger, control your tone, control your urges. Don't be that emotional wreck who explodes over small things and then begs for forgiveness. Be the one who speaks when it's necessary, not to be heard, but to be obeyed. When you talk, it should mean something. And if it doesn't, don't say it. Learn to eat your frustration. Learn to take disrespect on the chin while you plan your next 10 moves. Silence, composure, timing. That's real dominance. Respect isn't given to the loudest voice. It's given to the man who doesn't blink. The one who could destroy you but chooses not to. The one who walks away not because he's weak, but because he's thinking 10 levels above you. That's control. That's power. That's what earns respect in a world full of emotional sheep. And until you master it, you'll always be reacting while someone else is leading. Mystery creates value. The second people can predict you, you become average. You become easy to label, easy to control, easy to dismiss. You walk around spilling your plans, your emotions, your thoughts. You're nothing but an open book. And open books don't scare anyone. And open books don't dominate. They get read, judged, and tossed aside. You want to be valuable? Then be unreadable. Be unpredictable. Say less. Move smarter. Let people guess who you are, what you want, what you're capable of, and let that uncertainty eat them alive. People fear what they don't understand. That's the truth. They might not admit it, but it's wired into their brains. When they can't figure you out, they can't prepare for you, they start second-guessing everything. That hesitation, that mental tension, that's leverage. That's power. It's how you get ahead without even lifting a finger. Mystery makes people respect your presence without you ever raising your voice. You want that kind of power? Then stop broadcasting your every move like an amateur. You think posting your grind online makes you look focused? It makes you look desperate. You think talking about your next business move, your next goal, your next idea earns you support? No. It invites envy. It invites sabotage. While you're out here hoping for applause, someone else is taking notes, preparing to beat you to your own finish line. But when you move in silence, there's nothing to attack. There's nothing to predict. You become a ghost, and ghosts don't lose. The most dangerous men on the planet say the least. They don't brag. They don't announce. They just show up and dominate because their value is built on silence, discipline, and the unknown. People talk about them when they're not around. They build legends without lifting their voice. That's what mystery does. It turns you into a question mark people are too scared to answer. Mystery makes people assume you're 10 steps ahead, and that assumption gives you control. You could be thinking nothing, doing nothing, but if you keep your mouth shut and your moves private, the world will still imagine you're planning something big. And that fear, that overthinking, that's worth more than money, more than connections, more than followers. It's a weapon, but only if you have the discipline to shut up and let the silence do the work. So don't explain, don't justify, don't expose. Move like a storm no one sees coming. Let them underestimate you. Let them think you're dormant. And then remind them, too late, that value lives in mystery and power comes from the shadows. Winners move in silence. Loud people are addicted to validation. They're out here screaming about what they're going to do, posting every step, begging for likes, fishing for approval. It's pathetic. You don't see killers showing their weapon before the fight. You don't see a lion warning its prey. Real winners don't need to talk. They're too busy executing. They're in the shadows, locked in, grinding, while everyone else is too busy trying to look successful instead of becoming it. Talking is a drug for the weak. It gives them a quick hit of dopamine, a fake feeling of progress. I'm going to do this, I'm planning that. Shut up. No one cares what you say you're going to do. Show me. Talking about your goals doesn't bring you closer to them. It delays you. Every time you speak instead of act, you trade power for ego. Every time you announce your next move, you open yourself up to resistance, criticism, and distraction. And while you're dealing with that, the real ones already crossed the finish line in silence. The silent ones, they're different. They move with precision. They don't waste time explaining their path because they know results don't need explanations. They know success is the loudest statement, and it doesn't need words. They treat life like war. Every step calculated, every plan protected, every goal guarded like a weapon. No leaks, no noise, just pressure. Constant, relentless, invisible pressure building behind the scenes until it explodes. Not in talk, but in domination. The ones who win consistently are the ones who don't care about claps. They care about results. They don't parade their work, they bury themselves in it. Their life is a war room, not a stage. You think they're not working? That's exactly the point. You're watching their silence while they're perfecting their craft. And when the moment's right, they don't announce the launch. They launch and let it hit you in the face. That's the way you play this game. You want to win? Then shut up and show up. Don't talk about waking up early. Wake up early. Don't talk about building the business. Build it. Don't talk about discipline. Live it. Winners don't need confirmation. They don't need a spotlight. Their silence is their strength. Their silence is their advantage. And when the time comes, their silence turns into a roar no one saw coming because they were too busy watching the loud losers fall apart. Listening is a secret weapon. Not enough people understand that. Everyone's so obsessed with being heard, with getting their point across, with proving they're right. And in the chaos of their noise, they give away everything. Their thoughts, their intentions, their weaknesses, their fears. And while they talk, a real operator just listens. Silent, cold, absorbing every word like ammunition. Because knowledge is power, and the loud give it away for free. You want control? Then stop talking and start studying. Sit in rooms and say nothing. Let them underestimate you. Let them think you're clueless. Let them spill their guts thinking you're not a threat. Because while they're busy talking to feed their ego, you're collecting intel. Every little twitch, every word, every contradiction, every slip up, it all builds a blueprint. And when it's time to move, you don't guess. You strike with precision because you listened. That's what separates tacticians from talkers. People expose themselves when they talk too much. Their lies unravel, their patterns surface, their confidence breaks. But when you're quiet, they have nothing to go off. You're a wall. And people get uncomfortable when they can't read you. They start over-explaining. They start showing their hand. And all you have to do is sit there, disciplined, still, locked in, and soak up every crack in their armor. You don't have to lift a finger. Just watch them destroy themselves, one sentence at a time. Real power isn't in speaking first. It's in speaking last. And only when you have all the data. Listening gives you that edge. It gives you the blueprint to own the room without shouting once. You don't need volume. You need clarity. You need control. Listening is how you stay 2 steps ahead in every situation. Negotiations, relationships, warfare, business. The one who listens sharper wins harder. Every fool wants to be heard. Every winner wants to understand. You want to be dangerous? Be the quiet one in the room who knows everything and says nothing. Be the one who lets others reveal their cards while you keep yours close. Be the one who nods, waits, observes, then dismantles everything in front of him when the time is right. Because in a world full of noise, silence, backed by awareness, is a nuclear weapon. Listening isn't passive, it's lethal. Use it like a scalpel. Cut through lies. Expose the truth. And when it's time to act, do it with the kind of precision only deep awareness can deliver. Stillness breeds strategy. You ever see a fighter flailing around wildly, throwing punches with no plan? That's what most people look like when they run their lives. Noisy, frantic, desperate. But the real killers? They move with calm, they breathe, they observe, they wait. Stillness isn't weakness. It's the birthplace of domination. When the world is rushing, panicking, losing control, you sit steady, calculating every move with ruthless precision. You can't conquer anything without a plan, and you can't build a plan without space to think. Noise kills strategy, chaos kills focus. When you're silent, you create that space, a quiet battlefield in your mind where you see the angles, anticipate the traps, and prepare your attack. You don't rush into war with a loud battle cry. You wait, you watch. You pick the exact moment to strike so hard it breaks your enemy's will before they even realize what hit them. Stillness gives you control over time and energy, while others waste theirs reacting to every insult, every distraction, every little failure. You conserve yours. You sharpen your mind instead of your mouth. You build power instead of drama. And when the moment arrives, you're a force of nature. Unstoppable, unbreakable, undeniable. Most people never get this. They think success comes from yelling louder, moving faster, hustling harder. That's why they burn out. That's why they crash. But you understand that patience and silence aren't signs of weakness. They're tools of kings. They're the difference between chaos and order, between losing and winning. When you're still, you're in control of the battlefield and the battle itself. Don't let your ego force you into noise. Don't let desperation push you into reckless moves. Use silence to strategize, to sharpen your focus, to outthink and outlast every opponent. Every great empire, every legendary warrior, every master of the game has understood this. Stillness is where power is forged. Stillness is where victories begin. So stop rushing, stop talking, stop reacting like a child who needs to prove himself. Stand silent, stand steady, and let your strategy do the talking. When you move, move like a shadow in the night, fast, precise, deadly. Because stillness isn't just peace. It's preparation. It's power. It's the weapon no one sees coming until it's too late. If you want to win in life, learn this. Silence isn't weakness, it's your greatest weapon. Talk less, control more. Master your emotions, stay unreadable, move like a shadow, and listen like a predator. The world is full of noise, distractions, and fools shouting to be seen. But those who stay silent, they're the ones who own the game. They're the ones who build empires, while others crumble under the weight of their own words. So shut up, stay dead.